here is what my LinkedIn profile looks like. It shows my current positions. I have 2 jobs, one at Pivot, and I'm also a part-time pastor of a church. Some of my past work history, my education, and so on. You can connect to people like you do using Facebook, and often these are both friends and professional contacts. At the top of a profile, you can write a brief description of who you are and what you specialize in a nutshell. I've written pastor and social media specialist. And then it shows where I'm from. The profile also shows information about what kinds of connections I might be looking for, whether it's looking for a job, looking to network, willing to be asked questions about a particular profession, and so on. Now you can see the start of my connections here. Obviously, LinkedIn is like Facebook in that you are expected to be yourself on LinkedIn. In fact, on LinkedIn, even more so than Facebook, having a fictitious profile would be basically pointless. And you can see the people I'm connected to here are people I've worked with or just people that I know. And again, this is the sort of thing where when you first sign into LinkedIn and create a profile, it's going to search through your Facebook contacts and your Gmail contacts and ask you if you want to link to those people that it finds who also use LinkedIn. Now, one useful thing LinkedIn lets you do is to write to your connections on LinkedIn and ask for recommendations from people that you've worked over as their boss or under as their subordinates or worked for or with or whatever. And so you can see here that I've selected a couple of content. I've selected Afshin and Michael, both of whom I worked with at the San Francisco Symphony. And I can ask them, hey guys, I'd like you to recommend me through LinkedIn so that you can tell people that I'm actually a guy who does some good work. You can also post jobs and search for jobs on LinkedIn. Now this I thought was really interesting. This is a pretend job that I've posted or started to post here, King of the World at Pivot Group. This service for companies to post jobs actually does cost a fair amount. You can see there that it starts at $195 for 30 days. But it's very useful because through the network of connections, people can find these positions really quickly. And let me show you, the next screen here is going to show you something that I found that is in beta testing with LinkedIn, jobs you may be interested in. Now this is, here it's showing me 5 jobs that, based on my LinkedIn profile, it is suggesting, hey, you might be interested in these positions. Pastor of Care Ministries, Writing and Communications Support, General Manager at the Phoenix Symphony based on my history at the San Francisco Symphony, music teacher based on my music interests. These are all things that I actually might potentially be interested in were I looking for a job, which of course I'm not. And they're all over the country. So the great thing is when you post a job, it's not only going to let you have that be a job that can be found, but it's actually going to recommend that job to other people whose LinkedIn profiles matches that. So that's how LinkedIn works in terms of helping people to network with possible professional positions. And finally, on to Tumblr. When you first sign on to Tumblr, you sign up with an email address, you create a password, and then you can create your own Tumblr URL. So there I have iandesher.tumblr.com. And then you sign up, and you can go ahead and start posting. There are various kinds of blog posts. Tumblr is primarily a blog tool. So its primary purpose is to let you to create a blog through the internet. But what it lets you do is create several different kinds of postings. Text postings, photos, quotes, links, chats, audio and video. These are all the similar kinds of things that you might be able to post through Facebook. But again, the primary purpose here is to be a blog site. There's also lots of ways to customize your Tumblr page. You can redesign the look and feel. You can actually have it redirect to your own web address. So, if I had a web address that was iandesher.com, I could have that automatically direct to my Tumblr page so that I don't have to have the word Tumblr in the URL that I'm handing out to people. And you can see here in this image that it lets you connect to your Facebook account and your Twitter account so that if you post any blog posting on Tumblr, those blog postings are automatically going to show up on Facebook and Twitter. Now again, Tumblr allows you, like many of these other services we've seen, to find some of your contacts through your email account, your Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, or AOL, or MSN, and you can go ahead and follow those people which is, again, much like following somebody on Twitter. So if they are posting blog posts, you're going to be able to see that on one of your screens within Tumblr. And so here you can see these are 3 postings that I made literally in a matter of 5 minutes. The top posting that looks like a little telephone icon, that's an interesting and kind of fun service that, that Tumblr has, where you can dial into a Tumblr telephone number and you can record a message, and that automatically then shows up as an audio piece on this Tumblr blog. I don't know what you might use that for, but I thought it was kind of fun. There's a photo that I did, which is a jack-o'-lantern that my family created a couple years ago that I posted, so that would be under the photo category of blog posting. And then there's a text posting, the My Dinner with Andre elevator pitch. So this just shows you how easy it is to create these blog posts. They are very easy to make, very easy to put together. I have to say that I was pretty impressed with Tumblr. And finally, just some cool tools that Tumblr lets you use. The main ones here being the Tumblr that they have for smartphones, where they're actually going to let you read people's posts and also post your own information from your smartphone. Something that some of those other social media sites I did not have yet as integrations with smartphones, whereas Tumblr is fully integrated. So what are our takeaways when we look at these 5 social media sites beyond Facebook and Twitter? Well, number 1 is to choose wisely, as this knight in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade famously said. You may have heard me say before that there are a ton of social media sites out there, and it's easy to get lost or spend too much time being too thinly spread. So think about these 5. Think about how you might most effectively use them. Think about which makes sense to use and which you can forget about. Basically, make choices about social media sites the same way you make choices about where to advertise. For many of you, the local newspaper might be a must, whereas a regional hotel magazine is more questionable. The analogy then might be that you feel Tumblr is a must for getting out your company's blog, whereas Reddit can be ignored. Choose wisely. This also applies to where you put your social media advertising dollar. I pointed out that all 5 of these sites include some kind of opportunity for advertising, so you'll have to decide which site you think best captures or speaks to the audience that you're trying to reach. The second takeaway is that if you want to, I would say you should post big news items to Reddit and Digg, but don't waste too much time with them. If you have a big news story, like your business just made a big donation to a neighborhood charity, getting that news out as links in Reddit and Digg can be part of your overall strategy for getting the word out. Consider them places that you're extending your press release to. But beyond that, as a business, I would not waste too much time on them. As you might have guessed, with thousands of links, many of them silly, you can waste a whole bunch of time on Reddit and Digg if you want to. So use it, maybe even with Digg, invite your local newspaper, local press agents, and your customers to follow you on Digg, but otherwise don't let them take up too much of your time. When it comes to Yelp, I would say go for it, and as I put here, get your Yelp on. Most of our clients are local businesses, and local businesses are the main subjects of what Yelp does, letting users review them. Of course, you want to try to have as many positive reviews as possible on Yelp. What you shouldn't do is force all of your employees to go on Yelp and write good reviews. 1 or 2 in-house reviews might be okay, but too many and other users are going to see through what you're doing pretty easily. And that is a big social media no-no, stacking the good reviews in your favor. What you might consider doing, though, is running a promotion so that everyone who writes a Yelp review of your business is entered to win a prize. It has to be something good because setting up a Yelp account does take some effort, so people will want to be rewarded. But run a promotion to get more Yelp reviews. They don't have to be positive reviews. People would be allowed to write a bad review and still win your prize. You can't demand positive reviews. But if you get a lot of people reviewing you, it does give your business credibility. And unless your business is actually awful, in which case there are bigger issues for you to deal with, most likely most reviews are going to be pretty positive. So spend a little time driving your customers to Yelp to review your business. Fourth, at least as a company, you should be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the primary ways people are starting to look for jobs and connect with possible employers. So if nothing else, you should be on LinkedIn and have a profile there. If you are the CEO of a company or you work in human resources, it's probably a good idea to have a personal profile as well. You're much more likely to be found by people searching and to attract people you might not otherwise, particularly through traditional means, if you and your company have a good LinkedIn presence. And the good news about LinkedIn, as opposed to many other social media sites, is that you don't generally have to update your LinkedIn profile regularly, at least not any more regularly than you would update a personal resume. So LinkedIn is not overly time-consuming. The fifth takeaway is that if you're thinking of starting a company blog and haven't done so already, I really recommend Tumblr highly. As I think I've shown you, Tumblr makes posting incredibly easy, and its linking capability to personalized web addresses or Facebook accounts makes it easy to get the word out. Tumblr has been built to be surprisingly user-friendly, even more so than sites like WordPress and Blogger. So if you've been thinking of starting a blog but haven't been sure of which platform to use, I would say give Tumblr a try. The final takeaway is that Facebook is still everywhere. We saw on Digg, on Yelp, on LinkedIn, and on Tumblr ways to connect back to your Facebook profile and update it so your Facebook connections know what is happening, or ways to find your Facebook connections who are using other social media sites. So although there is a lot of good and useful stuff beyond Facebook and Twitter, the lesson here is that Facebook is still everywhere and is still the primary site you should be using and giving your energy to for your social media efforts. Companies just can't ignore Facebook and its presence on other social media sites, as its presence on other social media sites show, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. Finally, before I take some questions, I want to share with you one social media service that Pivot is providing now. It's called Pivot Posts, and the idea behind it is that we know it's often hard for companies to keep their social media sites fresh or to think of new things to post each day. So Pivot Posts is a place where we share 3 items each day: a link, an interesting fact or an amusing quote, and a conversation-starting question. At least 2 of the 3 each day are less than 140 characters long, meaning that they're appropriate either for a post on Twitter or Facebook. Now, subscription to this Pivot Post service is $100 per month, and along with that comes ongoing support from me on an on-call basis. So if you're interested in getting set up with Pivot Post or trying it out for a while, just let me know. And I think that's it for me. We are ready to take some questions. I forgot to say at the beginning that if you do have a question, you can put that into the right-hand side of your GoToWebinar control panel, and you can enter a question there. One question that's come in is, does it reflect poorly on a company if the CEO or president or other professionals don't have a LinkedIn profile? I wouldn't say it necessarily reflects poorly if you're not on LinkedIn, but I would say, as I did a minute ago, that being on LinkedIn is a good idea. Nobody's going to fault you for not having a profile there. It's not the sort of thing where people are necessarily going to expect you to be in 100% of cases, in the way that actually Facebook is coming to be more that way. So I would say don't feel that it reflects badly on you if you're not on LinkedIn. But like I say, it's worth your time to make sure your company is up there, particularly if you're a company that tends to have a lot of hiring going on. Another question that came through is Tumblr worth switching over to from Blogger or WordPress? We haven't had too many problems with either one, but is Tumblr really that much better? My answer there is no, actually. If you are already established on Blogger or WordPress and that's working out fine for you, don't think about trying to change to Tumblr. The Blogger and WordPress are just fine blog sites, and you can't, Tumblr is not going to improve on them for you vastly if you're already using them successfully. So I would say don't worry about switching over. I would just say that if you have not yet started a blog and have been thinking about it, Tumblr is a good way to go. So that's it. I think we are about out of time today. Thanks for joining us today. As always, the webinar slides are going to be available on our Facebook page within just a couple of hours, and the video will be there later on as well. You can register for our next Straight Talk webinar there. The next Straight Talk webinar, Straight Talk on Social Media webinar, is going to be Friday, October 29th, and our focus is going to be how to run a social media promotion. You can also see the date of the next Straight Talk on Telco Marketing webinar for our telecommunications customers. That's the final Wednesday of October, just 2 days before the next Straight Talk on Social Media webinar. That'll be Wednesday, October 27th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. On the right-hand side, as a little joke, because I set up all of these profiles for this webinar, I've gone ahead and listed the cajillion ways you can now find me online. Finally, you can see my email there. If you have any questions for me, do feel free to reach out and let me know. Otherwise, that's all for today. Thank you, and remember to keep your media social and your talk straight.